Can you tell us a bit about the product development process? How do you come up with these ideas, and then how do you actually develop these into physical products you can sell?
Yeah, one thing I've learned is that it's best to stay in your circle of competence. And so some people might disagree and say, oh, you know what, you should sell products in any category, even if you don't know anything about it. But I found that for me to be successful, I've stayed successful staying in the health and wellness space, which is what I know best. And because my background has always been there, I feel like I have a little bit of an edge, especially since a lot of the competition on Amazon is more and more the Chinese competition. And these Chinese black hat sellers, they're coming in just copycatting. They don't necessarily have that insider knowledge. They don't understand the customer at the same depth as somebody who would be in that space, living and breathing it and actually using the product. So that's what I feel like for me, I've always stayed in that space. And so as a result of that, I have a good understanding of kind of where the market and trend is going, like where I can spot trends, like the massage gun trend. I saw it before that trend was coming. I obviously had no idea it was going to be as big of a trend as it is today, but I knew that was going to be a big trend. Just seeing it early on, I could tell where it was headed. So you want to skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it is. And that's what I've always tried to do from a product development standpoint. I always recommend starting with private label because that's a good low cost, inexpensive, low risk way to get your idea out to market, see if there's viability for that category or that niche. And then as that product proves itself out, then maybe very quickly start investing into some customizations. And so, what I like to do in terms of product development, I have a team of engineers that I work with, and they'll produce some CAD files, which are like these manufacturing files that you can then give to a factory and then tell them to make these molds and tooling, which are then used to create your finished product. And that's usually where I'll start is I'll start private label. I'll see where the category is and see what the main competition looks like. Sometimes there may not be a lot of competition, and that's what I like. I like to be in more of a blue ocean, but you want to have a mix. You don't want to be in categories where there's no traffic either, because you don't want to try. It's hard to create demand for a product rather than going into a category with some existing demand and creating something better. So a lot of times what I'll try to do is initially go in with a private label product, see how it does. If I'm able to, I'll try to take that private label product, make some small tweaks to it to make it a little bit better than the competition. And that could be tweaks to the product itself. It could be tweaks to even just the proposition and the offer. Maybe you're offering like a bundle or a bonus item or multi-pack or something like that. Something to just differentiate, give a little bit more value. And then, like I said, very quickly, after 90 days or 6 months at the most, after I've seen some good traction, then I'll start to think about launching something more custom. And I've made the mistake in the past of trying to go very custom too early and just not validating those assumptions sooner. And then what happens is you invest so much money into intellectual property like patents, utility patents, design patents, trademarks, tooling, engineering costs, all this stuff, and then plus inventory. And then you find out that the market doesn't really even care about those unique aspects of your product or the design changes you made. They don't really care. So it just ends up being a huge waste of time and money. Then you kill the whole product. Super frustrating. So I don't do that anymore. Now I try to make sure to just validate it first, find out what the customers want. And the beauty of Amazon is they tell you, if you look at the seller feedback, the customer reviews, the voice of the customer inside Seller Central, they tell you exactly what they like and don't like. So you can use that, especially like the 3 stars. The 3 star reviews are golden because those are very honest. And they'll tell you like, oh, I really like this. I wish it was more like this, or I wish it had this, that, or the other. And you can use that to then improve your product. And again, I always recommend trying to have an iterative process where you make one small improvement in the beginning rather than launching a lot of improvements at the same time. Because that you could be making your product and the whole process way more expensive than it needs to be, and it could backfire.